The market moves higher as expected on Fed Day. How high can the bulls take it? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so in yesterday's video, I talked about the fact that while this could be a wave 4 that held that 4237 area, I thought it was much more likely we were going to be in wave 2 and blow through that area, and that's exactly what we saw as the bulls squeezed them out on Fed Day. Now the question is, how high can the bulls take it? I'll get into that in just 1 second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, we had 2 day trade winners yesterday, no losers. We had a swing trade that is well into the money. We are absolutely crushing this market. Please take the time to read these comments on the screen for a couple reasons. Number one, if you want to be part of a trading room that truly cares about you and wants you to succeed and proves to you that you will succeed over and over again, you want to see later in the video to be a part of this team. The other reason is this is why I do this. This is my passion. This is what I love. I love seeing traders change their habits, become winning, successful traders who are making money that is changing their lives. Again, if you want to be part of that, stay tuned for later in the video. But for now, let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 2-hour futures chart for the S&P 500, and I have been saying for a while now that if they're going to continue down, they need to do it in a diagonal. They need to fill out a diagonal, and that's what they've done. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then last week they came right down into this 1618 to 1764 extension of waves 1 and 2. That is a very common ending point for a diagonal. This leading diagonal came into this low on Friday, and there were a multitude of reasons that I teach in my Elliott Wave 4 beginners course as to why this was a strong bottom, and we should be looking more for this wave 2 than this wave 4. Now, we're technically not out of the woods yet on wave 4. They can still hold the 4273 region, but given the fact that NASDAQ has already blown through its key resistance, I believe ES will follow, and we should continue up in this wave 2. Now, when you get a completion of a diagonal pattern as we have here, and as I talked about on Monday I said I expected us to blow through 3 straight up days and be up in this area, and that's exactly what we saw. And when you get that, if you're going to get this wave 2, you want to see a strong move, basically straight up, because that's how diagonals resolve, and that's a very good clue that the diagonal has ended. So we would expect to see them continuing to push here. The next key level to take out is right here at 4290. Through that, and it's very likely we're up here in this 4350 to 4400 zone. 4400 would really be the minimum target I would expect on this push-up, as it's the 50% retrace. But diagonals do trace pretty high back up toward their origination point, and the 764 is up here at 4551. So it is very possible we see a really strong rally up toward that 4551 area. I don't think that is going to be the case. I want to put out there that that is not my primary. I just want to give you an idea of how high this can go. I think it's more likely we hit the 4400 to 4468 area, either test this area and fail right here. This is a major resistance area. Test it and fail, or kind of look above it and fail. But either way, I do expect us to come up into this area and fail, and then start a move down where we'd see a wave 1, 2, and then start down in 3 of 3 there, which would be a nasty fall if that's how this is going to play out. So the primary path is we are going to continue higher. They're going to continue this squeeze. 4290 becomes the next level to watch. If they can hold there, we may get some kind of B-wave pullback for a little bit of structure, but you generally don't get great structure on these diagonals. What happens is they get squeezed pretty hard or dropped pretty hard in the opposite direction, if it's a diagonal to the upside. But what happens is they move pretty quickly. So I don't necessarily expect any kind of significant pullback. I would expect more upside, but this 4290 area, if we're going to get a pullback, would be the area to watch for that, to give us kind of a B-wave, and then C up towards 4400 to give us this bigger wave 2 off of the top. And if you're not sure what that wave 2 means, you can check out our video from Monday where I went over the big picture, or our video from last October where I said that we would be falling in a C wave here as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at, is continued higher. 4290 becomes the next key level to break. If they can get through that, we very likely come up and test these highs over the next week or so. Over on the NASDAQ, okay, on the NASDAQ, as you can expect, pretty similar type of outcome, we are looking for higher. As you can see, they've blown through the 14,740, 14,745 area we were talking about as a potential for the high end of a smaller degree wave 4. So it does look like they're going to press back up here towards this 14.9 to 15,000 area. They do need to get back into wave 1 territory, which if we zoom out a little bit is right over here at about 14,807. They're actually into that territory now, which you would expect here because, again, the NASDAQ was a diagonal to the downside. And so you do expect them to come into this area as a minimum for the diagonal. And the more accurate target would be up here around this 14,950 area or above into the 15,000 area. If they start to push through 15,000, then we have to start to talk about potential bullish paths on both charts, really. As I did mention, that we could be seeing an ending diagonal to the upside that could take us back to 4,800 on the ES, a little over that, and then all-time highs on the NASDAQ as well. So we just kind of got to watch what's going on. But overall, continued squeeze higher. The next target would be the 14,957 area. Holding that and then dropping would be our expectation. But if they do blow through that, we would have to pay a lot more attention to the bulls at that point in time. So 14,957 would be the next target, up to 15,055 in that area. We would look for them to hold and push lower. But again, a push up through that area would be problematic for the bears. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It'll take you right over to the webpage. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible monthly plans that both come with a 7-day free trial. And that's because I want you to get in there. I want you to make sure you love it. I want you to become part of our trading community and understand what it's all about and make sure you're happy before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We also have our Elliott Wave for Beginners online course. If you want to know why and how we thought that the bottom was in last Friday and expected a squeeze today when most people were looking down on Fed Day, this course explains that for you. It is helping real traders make real money and make sense of a market that doesn't make sense to people. If you're struggling with why good news makes the market go down and bad news makes the market go up and it's not consistent, it's the perfect reason to get the Elliott Wave for Beginners course. It is 25 videos where I go through 3 different parts: the introduction, where you have to get your expectations in order, your mindset and emotion, the KISS method and why it works, the chart setup and tools, everything you need. I can tell you that this area right here is the most important area. It's how we identified that bottom and expected the wave 2 to come up. These tools are invaluable. I show you how to use every single one of them, get them set up, and use them to identify Elliott Wave patterns. And then the Elliott Wave for Beginners course, where we go through each wave, how to identify them, what their failure points are, what their confirmation points are, what they look like when they succeed, how to trade them, everything you want to know about Elliott Wave, corrective depth theory, theory of alternation, everything's in here so you can understand the market in a way that makes sense. The cool thing is, guys, if you don't want to pay the $67, I get it. It does come free in both monthly rooms. So you can become a monthly member and get the Elliott Wave for Beginners course for free. In our first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the counts and what to expect, as well as the training material you just saw. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing and day trade, which means we trade quite often in our room. Now, if you are looking for individual stocks, futures trading, and advanced training, you're going to want to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as day trading, individual stocks, PT's reduced risk binary method that just crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you huge multiples on your money, and it's how he structures his trades that's so unique. It's something you really have to see to understand, which is another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. We also started a challenge account where we put $4,000 into an account trading mini ES futures, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we would love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, the key takeaways for today. We're expecting the squeeze to continue. Bulls are pushing through that 42.73 area that was critical. Once we get through that, the next target is 42.90. From there, we could see a little bit of a pullback, and then I would still expect continuation back up toward the 4,400 area to complete this bigger wave 2. Over on the NASDAQ, again, we're still expecting more squeeze. 14,880 to 14,957 would be our next 2 targets. Up to the 15,000 area. Through that becomes a little bit problematic for the bears. Guys, that is your market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.